Okay, let's start the talk. Remember the name, writing a feature guided by a responsible maniac. Angular testing in TDD, you'll see why. Okay, so a little bit about me. Yeah, so I'm Shai Reznik, I'm a web developer and a consultant. I'm a blogger, I'm a teacher. A lot of people know that about me, but I'm actually an actor also as well. I acted in Harry Potter. I was the Thunder, okay? And I'm a famous speaker, okay? And I run highres.io, which is an online school. We have free video courses about Angular and testing and stuff like that, so check it out. So, a few months ago, I sent a survey to my high-res community and asked them, what is the reason you're testing your code? What problems are you trying to avoid? So I got answers. These are 2 out of dozens of answers. But basically, it came down to 2 reasons. First, they want to avoid bad code quality. Okay, we want to avoid it. And second, lack of confidence in the production code itself, in the actual product. So let's talk about bad code quality. What is it? Okay, this is an actual file of one of my clients' project. That's why it's blurred, but watch the line number, okay? Yeah, actual file that I had to work with. And long functions, so long file, long functions. Basically, it comes down to too many responsibilities. Also bad names, and basically if you do that while under pressure, people hate you, and they basically want to hit you, and also secretly they're wishing for you to meet a murderous rabbit in the bathroom. Okay, awesome. So don't do that. What you want instead is to do, yeah, okay. Can you laugh again? Okay, no, that's okay. It's fake. Okay, so you want small files, okay, and you want small functions that both have one single responsibility, aspire to one single responsibility, and basically it helps with the maintenance of the code and the productivity, so you don't have to look for stuff when you're changing the code. What is low confidence? So, you know, I personally hate when I need to deliver a feature and then not know if I'm gonna crash or not, you know, the production app, and get the phone call in the middle of the night of like, production is down, okay, I need to fix it. So I hate that feeling, okay? So what you want instead is confidence, right? You want to have confidence in your code so the project can evolve. If you are afraid to touch a certain part of your app, whoever was afraid, come on, okay, yeah, we all are. So that means that the project, you know, it's going to take longer time to change stuff. So that's why we have automated tests. And so, I don't know, I've been doing testing for a few years. 6 months ago, I decided to focus only on that because I got sick and tired about the tools that we have, the amount of time, the complaints I get from clients and stuff. So I decided to focus my energy on that and create open source tools, better ways to do tests, better syntax, and also what I'm about to talk about now is unit testing, but it's not the only type of test we need to write in order to get the better confidence. That's why I created this website, testangular.com, to focus only on testing Angular. Yeah, and I'm going to release in the next 2 weeks a free workshop of all the types of tests we need to write, and basically not that much, but to cover everything, maximum coverage. So, yeah, you can check it out. And the technique that I found most useful to deal with these 2 problems is TDD, test-driven development. What does it mean? You write a test, the test runner fails, and then you write the production code, the code that goes into production, and then the test runner show the green sign that it succeeded, and now you can refactor your code as much as you like. As long as it's green, you're good. Okay, so a few months ago, I gave a lecture at Angular App in Israel about TDD, and the feedback I got afterwards is that it was too theoretical. So I like to deliver value to my audience, so I decided to so I submitted the same talk before I got the feedback, and then I got the feedback, and I completely redid the whole thing to make it more practical. So we're gonna do a live coding in TDD style today. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of talks that do actually show the TDD, but we're going to do it live. So let's talk about the feature we're going to build, okay? And most of the time we see talks about to-do lists, right? Or calculators and stuff like that. No, I hope I'm not offending anyone. But those are not the type of apps we are writing. And we see these demos because it's hard to create a whole app, okay, and to demo a real use case. So I decided to build an entire app just for demoing real use cases in tests. And this is a real website. It's called Llama Date, okay? It's where llamas go and find their love, okay? And the feature we are going to build is a small feature called, no, not Google. Okay, so the feature we're going to build, you can see, wait, yeah. It's a matching quiz. It asks you questions, and then you can answer, and then it basically shows the thank you page, and that's basically it. Okay, so great. So that's for the machine learning to work and to match you a better llama. Okay, so this is what we're going to build. We're going to build a small slice of it because, again, it takes a lot of time and effort to do that. And it's the last talk of the day. But I want to show you how I really develop my code, like in real life, with the syntax that I'm using and such. So I didn't converted it to the normal syntax we all know. So I want to go over a few concepts. Each one of these concepts can take me half an hour to explain. So I'm just going to go over them very briefly, so we'll be on the same page, okay? So the first concept is a test driver. This concept I learned from my friends at Wix, who are heavy testing writers. And basically, it comes down to, well, who knows what is a page object? Okay, whoever wrote protractor tests. Okay, so a page object is basically when you have a component on your screen and you want to query it to get the DOM element. So you can write a page object with helper methods. So that queries get the object for you, to get the DOM element. That's a page object. Okay, testbed, who used testbed? Who writes tests? Who wish to write tests but don't have time? Okay, awesome. Who hates tests? Awesome, I hope I will convert you someday. Okay, so testbed is the way is the API from the Angular team, which gives us the ability to configure our tests. You probably see the configure testing module, and probably when you deleted the spec file after you generate the component, this is what you saw. Okay, so. So testbed, we use it to control the test and to trigger threat detection and all that stuff. I find it a bit complicated to use all this stuff, so I created the test driver, which is an upgraded API. It's a facade that lets you also configure the test and use it as a page object. We'll see how it looks like. The way we create the driver, we use what I call a setup function, which is basically under the hood, just configure the test bed, but it's a much easier API, and it produces a factory that produces the driver. We'll see that as well. So the third thing is you probably also saw that when you deleted the spec file before you deleted it. This is the actual function that runs the test, and there we expect stuff. We verify that stuff are true or not or exist. And okay, this is the it function, and you also have the before each function, which runs before each test, each it function. So imagine we had two before each function and an it function. Okay. So the reason I'm showing you this is because I use a different syntax, which basically does that. Okay, I'm using a syntax called given, when, then. Okay, which basically means given and when are before each function. You can translate them to before each functions. So they run before each then function, which is like the it function. That's it. Okay, that's the syntax I'm using. I find it much more easy to read the test afterwards, and it has lots of benefits. We won't get into it. I have a free course on high-res that shows the benefits, stuff like that. Go there. OK. And the last concept is spies. If you've ever written a test, you probably heard about mocks, spies, test doubles, all that stuff. Basically, it means when you're writing a component and want to isolate it and test just that, we can fake its services and replace them with spies that we can interrogate afterwards, like how much times have you been called and stuff like that. OK. So these are spies. And this isolated component. Okay, I wrote like, this is actually released. I released it last year, I think, Jasmine Auto Spies. It gives you a much easier API, and it's auto spying your classes. One last thing is that we need to pay attention here in this talk that if we don't understand certain syntax, it's okay. The more important thing to focus on is the process, is the decision-making process. Okay, look at how like I'm thinking and stuff like that, and get like extract the benefits out of that, and not like trying to focus on, oh, I don't understand what this function does and stuff like that. Don't worry, you'll see the video later, but focus on the decision-making process. Awesome. Now, okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the brain. Okay, so you'll see why. The brain, we have lots of parts. Two of them are the amygdala, which is a very small part that is in charge of our emotions and the reward system and all that stuff. And basically, if we had just that, we would be running around and slapping random people in the streets and falling in love with people and getting angry and all that stuff. But we have the neocortex that controls it. I hope I don't mess up the definitions here, but okay, it basically controls the amygdala, and don't let it, that's the voice in our head, don't do that, don't say it, code of conduct. Okay, so this is the neocortex, okay? But it turns out that in recent years, they discovered a new type of brain, the TDD brain, okay? And it sits right next to the amygdala, okay? And it helps us when we write tests, okay? So why do I tell you all that? Whenever I speak with people about TDD, I always get like, it's too hard, I will never be able to do that, it takes time, I rather just write the code or write the test after the code, all that stuff. And I always say that I wish you could hear my thoughts while I'm coding to realize the benefits that I'm having from TDDing my code. So me and Uri Shaked, if you know Uri, developed a device that can read minds, okay? And instead of telling you about it, let's show it, okay? So Uri, welcome Uri to the stage, okay? And okay. No drama, just put it. Okay. It's okay? Okay, Uri Shaked, everyone. He has a light bulb. Awesome, let me tune it, okay? You can hear it. Let's see if I can connect it to the speaker here. Okay, now let me tune it out, tune it up. Testing. Hey, can you hear? Hey, TDD brain, is it you?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, hi. Welcome my TDD brain, everyone. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Yeah, you realize you just clapped to a voice in my head. Anyway. So TDD, are you ready? We're going to develop a feature. We're going to have so much fun.
Hi.
Who's that?
I'm your amygdala.
What? No, I just want the TDD, so if you can go away, okay?
I can't go away. I'm part of you.
Okay, sorry guys, probably they are close together, as I showed you, so we're picking up on both of their voices. So just be quiet, okay? Don't bother us. We need to develop this feature.
Don't worry, they won't even notice me. I'll be quiet.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, I'll be quiet. Just like this crowd of 1,000 people sitting in front of you, staring at you, judging, expecting.
I'm not scared.
Sure you're not. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone how sometimes you feel like an imposter and you want to quit your job, move to New Zealand, and raise hamsters for a living.
Don't tell that.
Sure. Oh, who's that?
Who?
That guy in the front row.
That guy?
Yeah, he's looking at you like, hey, how you doing? Just let it go, Shai. Let yourself fall in love with him.
Wait. Okay. Stop it. We need to develop the feature, okay? We don't have time for this.
Shai, can we start?
Yes, TDD brain. Okay, we're starting. We're starting this. Okay, great. Okay, this is the feature, okay? Just don't worry about him. Just ignore him. Whatever he says it's not true, okay? So let's go over the feature one more time. Great. We had the question and we had like the answer. So it's just like 4 elements. And we're gonna do a partial TDD of this component, again, because we don't have time. Cool, great. Now, so you can see here I have the link, and currently we don't have anything because I just generated the component and it's empty. So let's switch to the code, and what you can see here is that we have the template and the component, and they're empty. And basically, this is what we have here. So what I like to do first is to start by just deleting the template and start by adding the elements to the page here. Okay. So now we need to add the buttons and just add them.
Wait. Remember, you must write a failing test before you write any production code.
Oh, don't listen to him. Just write the code. We'll write the test later.
But if you do that, you'll miss out on all of the benefits.
Okay, I think I will go with the TDD brain this time. Okay, so let's delete all that stuff and we'll move back to the spec file. Okay, and now let's run the test first. That's the first thing we need to do. And here you can see I already have running tests, right? And a good coverage number. The coverage is just there for like giving us indication that we didn't miss anything. Okay, awesome. And now what I like to do is to first start by writing the setup function. Okay, like I told you, the setup function is in charge of creating the test driver. So this is a very simple API. Basically give it a configuration object which expects the component class and the component driver class. So let's just import. First, okay, we'll go to the driver, and yeah, this is basically, you can see that it extends the component driver, and we'll start by writing the driver under test and import the component driver. So basically what we are doing is that we're creating the test driver, and we're taking the component setup function and we'll use it to create the component driver. So it has a method called create component driver, and that's basically it. And by the way, if it's too small, you can, guys, if you sit in the back, just come closer, okay? It's easier that way. Okay, awesome. So, what we have here is the component driver, and basically I don't really have an idea how to continue. I always get stuck in this moment when I TDD. TDDing.
That's okay. I say, while you're thinking about it, why don't we check out Twitter to see if we got any new notifications? Yeah, let's do that.
That's a good idea. Okay, so let's open Twitter.
Shai?
Okay. It says, sorry, we'll go back to the code. Yeah, we still have the test to do.
Party pooper.
Shai, let's try and think. What's the easiest thing you can start testing?
Well, basically, I can just like test, I don't know, let's just test this fake question, just that the element is there, maybe, or something like that.
Okay, so do that. Test that.
Okay, so let's delete that and go back to the spec file and just, okay. Now we'll create like a describe. Every time we want to check like bindings and stuff, we do it after the component gets initialized. Okay, so this is the init, what's the init for. And now we need to think about what's the use case we're actually testing. So we'll do like given question is available, then show the question text. Okay, that's the easiest thing I can think of. I just used the snippet to create the given, when, and then. Okay, so like I told you, this is the before each function and the given and when, and then you have like the each function, which is the then, basically. Okay, so now what I like to do before I actually write the code is to create a few comments. Okay, so this is just, again, for like the structure, and I like to create like the setup comment, the action. Basically, the given is the setup, the when is the action, and the then is the outcome. Okay, so now let's think what we want to develop here. So first of all, in the setup, what we want to do is to want to fake, just have the fake question on the component instance. Okay, this is how we set up the code. So basically, anything regarding the component instance, we need to trigger change detection. So let's write there, okay? Once we set anything up on the component, and the outcome, basically, we want to verify that the question text is in the template. Okay, that's basically what we want. Or we want a fake question, not the real question. Okay. So it's important.
Hey, you know what's not fake?
What?
Your love for that guy in the front row.
Okay, okay, stop. Okay, we need to continue with the, okay, later. Well, let's see. Okay.
Shai, how are you gonna implement this game plan?
So first of all, what I can do is just like use the driver. Okay, so like I said, I have the component instance, everything in one interface. So I can just create a fake variable and just give it a fake. I like to use fake a lot, as you can see. And let's declare the variable and make sure we are resetting it. Okay. That's important. Now we can, you know what, like I told you, the given is just like the before each function, okay? So this can be replaced with that, so we can just replace the before each function with the given function. And now, let's see, we have this test, but we don't have any question text, right, in the component. So let me show you a nice trick the TypeScript gives us. We can do the quick fix and declare the property automatically on the component, so we don't need to skip between them, and voila, we got the property created automatically on the component. Let's go back to the spec file, and now,
They didn't like it.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so now we what we want to do is, because we set it up on the component instance, we want to trigger the change detection. So we use, again, the same API, the driver API to do that, so it's all in one thing. And now we want to expect that the component under test is, we have some kind of a selector on it, okay? So like question element, and we want its text content. I want it to be equal to the fake question text, right? Want this to be equal to that, but we first need to do something about the question element, right? So what are we going to do? We can, if we want, we can just create, okay, just use the driver on the test API, and we can query the component template, okay, and just like, give it like a CSS selector to get the question element and to get the text content. But there's a better way. Like I told you about the page objects, what we want to do is basically to do it on the test driver itself. I showed you before that it was a different file, right? So let's go to that file and create a getter function that just query for that question element, and we'll use the query, but we'll use a better query method, which is query by test ID. This I learned from Kenzie Dott's article about test ID, which is a better way to select, to select elements. So now we need to
I wonder how Pete Bacon Darwin looks like in an evening dress.
Okay, just ignore that. So we have the HTML element, and we need to create it on the template. So let's just create it just an empty div, and we'll give it a test ID, which we can use for the query afterwards. Let's run the test now. Okay, and ooh, yeah, it failed.
Everybody hates you.
Shut up. Okay, so now what we can see, if we go to the spec, let's go to the spec, and we'll see. Okay, so it expects. We see that it expects that the text content, which is currently empty, to be equal to the fake question, which is the fake question text. So we need to somehow fill that up. So let's go back to the template and just what we want to do. What we want to do? Binding.
What a silly thing to say.
Okay, yeah. So we want to bind. So we have this question text. So let's bind to that. And now let's run the test. Okay, and yeah.
You're awesome, Shai. Really? Now, do you know what you deserve for being that awesome? That's right, YouTube time.
Okay, awesome. So let's open
Shai,
up.
aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, right. We need to add the button, and we need to add 3 buttons. So let's go back to the spec file, and first we'll delete the comments. Okay, we don't need it because we wrote everything already, and now we just need to add more buttons. So we can just use the same method that we used and just duplicate this line and just create another query, right? So we can create another query for the button, but now we need the fake answer variable. So let's just create those. Okay, I guess let's see. Oh, we need 3, and you know what? I don't want to create too many variables in my test. Let's just use something else or something like that.
Because you're lazy.
I know, it's a good thing, okay? So let's create just a data structure, and we'll call, let's look for it. Oh, somebody already written a data structure for that. Yeah, cool.
Shai, why are you acting so surprised? You created that interface.
Oh, right. Okay, so let's see this data structure. We have a question and 3 answers, and that's basically what we needed. So let's close that. go back to the spec and just use it. Now we have like a simple data structure we can use instead of lots of fake objects. But now, okay, first let's delete this line and want to basically change our code, right? We want to get rid of all this fake question text to refactor it to the new data structure.
Hey, don't you dare touch this code. It's currently working, and I don't want us to add more bugs that will cause us not to watch Game of Thrones Season 7 like you promised me that we'll do once this lecture is over. So, don't touch anything.
Okay.
That's okay. That's the whole beauty of TDD. Because the tests are passing now, you can refactor your code with ease. As long as the tests are green, you know you didn't break anything. So you're good to go.
Okay, awesome. So you know what? Let's refactor it. Okay, so let's first delete it. And now we see a bunch of errors. Okay, so let's first start. We need to change everything to the new variable. So let's start with the first line. Let's just reset that, okay, as a best practice. Let's change that and make it an object. And now, yeah, we just like do the question there. And now, yeah, it complains about the answer missing. So let's add that as well. And let's add 3 of those, right, to satisfy the TypeScript, basically. And now we need to switch that. So let's take the data structure. We need the question. So replace that. We'll copy it. Let's copy that line, right? And OK, let's run the test and check the result. Awesome! OK, we still have a green test.
Yay,
OK.
we're going to watch Game of Thrones. You, sir, deserve something sweet. Go and find a jar of Nutella and eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Not so fast, you two. You still have the buttons to add.
Oh, right. OK, cool. So let's add the buttons. OK, I keep getting distracted. OK, so we'll add the buttons like before, but now we have the fake answer text that we can compare it to and verify. So let's create 2 more of these. And now let's basically run the test. And oh, we see a failure here. You see that? OK, so it complains basically that we're missing this stuff. What we need to do, right? We need to go and just duplicate the whole thing and just write the second one here. And
check your email, check your email.
I'm not listening. OK, so we created the 3 buttons, and now we have them. We need to go basically to the template now and create those 3 elements. So let's create the button, the first button, give it the data test ID, duplicate it, and just change the name. And let's see the test. Oh, now they fail. OK. So they fail, and basically they complain that, oh, we didn't bind them, as you can see. So we need to add the bindings there. So now let's try and bind to our data structure, but now we don't see it, right? So that means that we need to go and add it to the components, and just we'll add it here, and we can remove that. Let's go back to the template. And add the question data and bind to the answers. And
oh, you forgot to call your wife.
That's OK. I'm busy now. Let's just add the...
Somebody's going to get angry.
It's OK. Hi, Noga. OK, we replace the question. And now, I think...
Hey, why won't we add a skip button here? That way, people could skip to the next question.
OK.
First of all, you're in the middle of fixing a different failing test. And second, if you want to add a new feature, you need to write a test for that as well.
Another test? Screw that. Who needs a skip button anyway? What a lousy idea. Where's my Nutella?
Okay, so you're done? Okay, so let's run the test, and okay, we see that it fails, okay? It cannot find the question text, right, in the component. So let's just, yeah, okay, we need to change that to the question data and delete this, and now let's run the test again, and they are passing. Okay, awesome. That's cool. Yeah. What the hell is that?
What? This is your victory music.
That's not my victory music. Okay. Okay.
Guys, I wouldn't celebrate so early.
Why?
Just check out the website.
Okay, I'll check. What the hell is that? So it seems like our component is kind of messed up. Yeah, we're not.
What have you done, Shai? You ruined it.
No, we didn't bind. Okay, let's go back and I'll prove it, okay, and just see that it works, okay? So let's just give it like the fake data from our test, just so you'll see that we actually have a component and we didn't like do stuff for nothing, okay? And go back to the website, let's save it. Yeah, okay, now you can see, right? You can see our component, so it is working. Let's delete that, okay? And let's go to the spec file. Now we need to fetch the real data, not the fake data. So what do we need to do now? We need to first fetch the question, okay, from the server, and then we need the random to select a random question, okay, because it should be random, and also we need to remove it from the selected question list, okay, and so there won't be any duplicates, and probably we need to do more stuff like that. Basically it becomes, there's a lot of stuff. Should I write like tests? How do I write tests for all that?
Shai, just drop this testing stuff and just code. You know how to code, so just code. Forget about the testing.
Well, that is tempting, but you can turn this difficulty into an opportunity. An opportunity to be lazy and to delay these decisions to a later time. So whenever you encounter anything that does not directly relate to your component, you can practice what I call lazy-driven development.
I like lazy. Tell us more, please.
Imagine you've just met a genie and he grants you one wish. What would you wish for?
Ooh, to have John Papa bake me a pizza while wearing nothing but VS Code.
I think he's talking about like technically what do we want to do, okay?
Right.
So what I want to do basically is to have like, I don't know, like a service, okay, like, I don't know, or it's just a method, get random question or something like that saves me all this trouble.
So let's just imagine you had a magic service with that method on it.
Okay, something like magic service, get random question, something like that.
Yes, it will do all the steps you just wrote. So you can delete those comments.
Okay, so that seems magical.
And you can rename it to something similar to the name of the component.
Oh, okay. So probably like the component match quiz service. Okay, so we can have like the same name. Okay, awesome. What do I need?
You really don't need to worry about the details right now. You can just fake it for now.
Okay, so I don't need to create the test for it and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So let's just use spies, like we talked about before. So we'll use a spy, and I told you I created like the testing library, Jasmine Auto Spy. So it gives me a cool API for observables that I can call just next with and give it like the data to emit as soon as someone subscribes to it. So I can just edit here, and we can basically now delete this line. We don't need it anymore because we have the spy. So let's delete this line, and now we'll generate the service, the new service. Okay, you can see it better now. Okay, awesome. So I told you if you want the back. Okay, so let's we see just an empty service, but it doesn't matter because we can just like use it as a fake. But now we need to declare it or add it to the injector. So we can use another property called services to stub, a magical property that we can just add the class to it, and this configures the injector. And now all we need to do is to create a spy of this service. Okay, so we can use again a special type I created called spy, and it gives us the original methods, but with type safety for the end property. Okay, so now we can just call the same API again, call the injector, give it the match quiz service, and now we get the match service spy instance. That's how we define spies, and that's it. Now we can use it. But now we see an error, okay? And again, the same trick wouldn't work here with the TypeScript because it's a spy, but there's another trick I wanted to show you. Basically, we can create a new instance on the fly and call the same method and just use this to auto-generate the method, okay? How cool is that, okay? So now, this is the generated method, and it's auto-generated with throwing an error, so we'll remember to implement it later on. Okay, so we can delete that. And now what we want to do here is basically to...
Look at the guy in the front row.
Okay, note now. Okay, awesome. So this basically we need, again, this is details. We need a decorator I created from the Jasmine Auto Spy, and it expects us to return, it analyzes the return value type, and by that it knows to create the helper methods. So we just need that in order for it to work. And now let's go back to the spec file, and let's run the test, okay, to see if it works. Okay, and oh no, it's okay. Let's zoom. It basically creates the, okay, it expects that this is undefined. Basically, it says that it doesn't recognize the question variable. Okay, so let's go to that component, and we need to basically now inject the service. So now that we have a failing test, we can just inject the service, and we need to call it subscribe method, and to expect the data and to assign it to our property. And now let's run the test, and okay, it runs the test. Awesome. Someone said something about the subscription. What are you asking? What can I do instead of it?
That's a stupid question.
That's a good question. Okay, we can use async spy and stuff like that, but for this feature, I'm using a different method, and again, we'll see like the error handling and all that stuff later on.
Woohoo! Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones?
You realize you still have more stuff to do, right?
I know. We can, again, okay, so yeah, we need a subscription here, and okay, like you said, and we can unsubscribe from it, okay?
Not only that,
so no Game of Thrones?
but
Okay.
you also cover just one use case of when the question is fetched successfully.
You lousy piece of sh...
But what about the use case where you fetch the question and it fails?
Okay, so basically we can just write another test for that, okay? We can like just write another subgroup And given that fetching the question failed, then we can expect an error, okay? Just show an error. So we can use the same, basically the same given when then, and do that. But it takes too much time, okay? So let's stop here, okay? The development of the feature. We can continue it more and more. Basically, I have like the final version, so let's git check out that. And I'll just show you everything. And now you can see that we have basically all the tests for this component. We have this use case, and you have the error use case, and we have what happens when there are no more questions, and what happens when we click on the button, and and the answer one is clicked, and all that stuff. Let's move to the spec file, and basically all of this I also wrote in TDD.
Liar.
And you see all the stuff that are here basically are covered. And if we look at the test, you can see, you can see 32 tests are passing now because everything is covered. Okay, so now let's go to the website and check the final feature. So this, once we have all the tests. Okay, what do you want us to answer? Okay, which kind of movies do you like? Bollywood. Okay, let's select Bollywood. Okay, do you like to get spit on? Yes. Okay, also. I like yes, so I will choose yes. Okay, thank you. Oh, man. Okay, awesome. So now let's wrap it up. Okay, so how TDD helps. Okay, let's see how. So basically, let's go over what we did. Okay, we had the two things, code quality and confidence. We needed to refactor, right? We had a decision point whether to refactor, so we could because the tests were green. So it helps both the confidence and the code quality because we can make the code better. What we also did is we used the YAGNI principle. You ain't gonna need it, right? With the skip button. Okay, so we didn't add anything because we needed to write the test. So the test made us stop and think, which is a good thing. And also we had modularity, okay? So we didn't want to continue writing the tests for too many things. So then it was a great opportunity to just extract it into a different service, which has a single responsibility. So that also goes into the code quality. So we gained that. And we also saw like different use cases. So often when I TDD, I always like stop and ask, okay, I tested the successful scenario. What about the error? What about the complete on the observer? What about those kind of scenarios? So they give us more coverage. We also saw that when we go over tests, it's kind of like a documentation. We can see all the use cases this component needs to do and stuff like that. So this is for the code quality, for the productivity aspect. And we actually write the test, okay, while doing TDD. So there's no like, it's the end of the sprint and we don't have a lot of time left, right? And we just like do it on the next sprint, okay? We actually write the test while using TDD. Okay, so so again, there's free workshop if you want to learn more deep dive. This will be the first one out of a series of courses that my goal is to take anyone from zero knowledge to full TDD with all the APIs and all that stuff to gain the confidence and the quality. And one last tip I wanted to leave you with is when you start, make sure you pick a bug. If you want to start with TDD, often, if you're already testing your code, just write the test to simulate the bug, have it fail, and then fix the bug. Then you get like an easier way into TDD, okay? So just I want to leave you with that. And with that, thank you very much. Okay.